Hi, and welcome to Teams App Camp. I'm David Starr, and in this video, I'm going to walk through components of a SaaS offer in the Microsoft Commercial Marketplace, specifically through AppSource. This will give you an understanding to get started building your SaaS offer and the resources to understand technical details at an even deeper level. So let's get started. Firstly, this video will give you a working knowledge of SaaS offers in the commercial marketplace, which is key for success with the monetization lab in Teams Camp. To perform the monetization lab, note that you will already have needed to complete labs A1 through A03. All right, so what are we going to do in this video? Firstly, we're going to talk just a little bit about SaaS offers in general, and then we're going to demo everything else, including using Partner Center to set up your offer, at least the technical configuration component. Also, we're going to look at purchasing a SaaS offer from the point of view of a customer, which is really important because we need to understand what that workflow looks like. Next, we're going to take a look at the SaaS offer landing page, which is actually part of that purchasing a SaaS offer. Finally, we're going to check out a SaaS offer publisher portal, which is an optional component of building a SaaS offer, but one that comes in really handy. Let's start by talking just a little bit about what SaaS offers are and how we might use them in the context of Teams App Camp. Firstly, SaaS offers are a type of offer within the Microsoft Commercial Marketplace, and of course, SaaS being software as a service. And what's really interesting about them is that they can provide functionality of a Teams application, right? So it's a SaaS application that's essentially wrapped by Teams in some way that allows the SaaS application to be exposed as a Teams app. Lastly, the SaaS offer becomes the billing vehicle for your Teams app offer, assuming that your Teams application sits on top of a SaaS application. There are several components of SaaS applications, and some are required, some are optional, and we're going to have a quick look at what those might be. Firstly, we do need to configure our SaaS application in Partner Center. There's a lot of business information that goes into this configuration of our offer, but for our purposes, we're going to investigate the technical configuration aspects of setting up Partner Center. Also, we need a landing page, and that is a page where your customers, your subscribers, will go to configure their subscription with you as an ISV. This page must have Azure Active Directory single sign-on. However, it does not need to live on Azure. This can live anywhere on the internet. Correspondingly, we need a webhook that we also configure in Partner Center. This webhook is responsible for receiving posts from the marketplace whenever something happens to a subscription. So when a subscription state changes, say from subscribed to unsubscribed, you'll get a notification on your webhook. And finally, we need a licensing service when we use per user licensing on our SaaS offer. And that licensing service is another thing that you'll need to build. There are some optional components to include a publisher dashboard. This is a simple website or something to that effect that allows you to monitor and manage your subscriptions or the subscriptions of your customers. And it typically reads from a database that your webhook would write into, ensuring continuity of subscription state. Then you can think about automated provisioning of your customer account. So it isn't required that one actually automate the provisioning of customer accounts. It could be something that's done in a manual fashion. However, doing so in an automated way really speeds up your operations and allows you to spend your technical resources elsewhere. Finally, consider automated cleanup of account information for your customers when they unsubscribe from your service. This is really important in countries, for example, that support the GDPR standard, and even states in the United States where there are requirements that people can request to be forgotten. So go ahead and forget them automatically when they unsubscribe from your product. Now with that, let's jump into Partner Center and have a look at the technical configuration required to set up a SaaS offer. This is a SaaS offer in Partner Center, the portal through which you set up, configure, publish, maintain, and monitor your offers that you create for the commercial marketplace. Now, this particular offer is for Contoso Coffee. And note that it's a per user licensed offer. Now, we're going to skip all of the parts of Partner Center that you can learn about elsewhere, and we'll talk about elsewhere later in this video. But for now, we're going to jump right down to technical configuration and note that there are several things that are required as part of technical configuration. First of all, that landing page URL that we talked about. And notice this does not have to be hosted on Azure. This can be anywhere on the internet. And that's true of the connection webhook as well that we see configured on this page. Finally, we put in the Azure Active Directory tenant ID of the solution and the application ID of the solution. That is, you have in your application an application registration, and we put in the ID of that application registration. Now let's jump back up to the offer overview. And here we're going to move into purchasing a SaaS offer from within AppSource. Partner Center allows a preview of this capability before we actually go live. It's in the publisher sign-off phase. We're going to select AppSource Preview, which will bring up a page that is exactly what your customers will see after they have found your product in AppSource and they've decided they want to get it now and buy it. So they're going to select the button, Get It Now, and this will take them through a purchase process. Now we have two plans that we've created as part of this offer, Gold and Silver. Note that each plan is $0. Now this is simply because this is a demo. Of course, your product would cost some amount of money per user. Now let's select Next. We'll fill out our billing terms. I'm going to select Off for recurring billing, and the number of users that's been specified for this offer is up to 10. Now, your offer is probably going to have many more user capabilities. This is just for demo purposes. I'm going to purchase 3 licenses as part of this purchase process. Next, I go to the checkout page, which allows me one final look through the offer before I decide to go ahead and purchase it. Note I need to select a billing profile here, so I'll select my Elegant Code billing profile, and finally I'll click on Accept Agreement and place order. It does take a moment to provision a SaaS application. Great. Now we've deployed our SaaS application, but as a customer, I may need to configure my account with the ISV or independent software vendor, the company that made the software. To do that, we go to the offers landing page. To get to that landing page, we simply select Configure SaaS Account. Now remember, this can go to any page that's on the web, and here's our Active Directory single sign-on. I'm going to select my Microsoft account to sign in with Azure Active Directory. And I see the details of my subscription displayed on the screen one last time before I choose to actually send notification to the ISV that I want the subscription to be activated. Notice too, there is up in the URL a token that has a munged up string there. And what this is used for when you build your landing page is you resolve this token with the Marketplace Fulfillment API, which returns all of the details about a subscription. And those are the things that you can show on this screen. In addition, you could collect more information from a customer about what they need in their account. The customer will go ahead and select subscribe, which in this case, the landing page that we've authored sends an email to the operations team at the ISV, who will then provision the account. The last thing we're going to have a look at is a publisher portal. Now note, this is not necessary, but it is extremely useful to have a publisher portal so that you can manage and monitor your customers' subscriptions. I'm going to jump into a publisher portal that our team has created, and note that it gives me Azure Active Directory single sign-on, in this case just for my tenant. And I'll go to subscriptions and note that we have a new subscription up here that has a subscription name of SaaS Accelerator Gold per user. This is the subscription and the plan that we purchased just a few moments ago. And notice that there is a quantity of 3 that's been designated as part of the purchase. The state of the subscription is still in pending activation. So let's say that I, as the ISV, now need to go provision information into my application that is going to actually serve up those 3 licenses. Now I've done that, so I'm going to go ahead and activate this account. So I'll review it one last time and then activate this account. Note, when we get back to our subscriptions list, the subscription is now shown as subscribed. This was a really handy way to activate the subscription, and this has to be done on the software seller's side. Now let's have a look at a licensing service and what role that might play. Well, it turns out that when you select per user pricing for your SaaS offer, you're going to need a licensing service. This licensing service is going to ensure that various things are true, like if a customer has purchased 3 licenses, then your SaaS application needs to ensure that no more than 3 licenses are actually allowed to be used at one time. Here's a quick look at the whole ecosystem and the components of a complete SaaS solution and who's responsible for which pieces. Things in blue come from Microsoft, that's AppSource, and the team's App Store, obviously. And you as the ISV are responsible for that landing page we discussed, the webhook, of course, and finally, your SaaS application that lives within Teams. But there is one more piece, and it's that licensing service that we talked about that typically will write information into a database that will be read by the SaaS application itself, ensuring that licensing terms are respected. I want to thank you for joining me in this brief tour through SaaS offers in AppSource. And I'd like particularly to point you to an additional resource where you can learn a lot more detail about building your SaaS application. And that is aka.ms/mastering the marketplace. And if you want to go directly to SaaS offers, put a /SaaS on the end of that. And with that, thank you very much for your time, and good luck building SaaS applications for your Teams app.